Yo, and good morning. It's going to be a little bit different. I think you can like and subscribe. Go ahead and hit that like button, all that kind of stuff. We're going to extend our reach so we can go live at 25. It's the day after Christmas. About 3 a.m. started driving. Actually made it, came from Tennessee down to Dallas. Got to have a little get together with the family, which was real good. Got a little bit of sleep in. Now we're headed to deliver the load, which is real good. So, the Lord just blessing all the way around. And it's a little bit different video because I stumbled upon some real good prayer. Okay, so probably 2008-ish, give or take a little bit. I was a part of a church. I was in prison, and then it was a work city. So you go out to the community and work. Basically, the Department of Corrections takes all your money, and then they let you have a little bit of it back when you get out, which is, I guess, part of the rehabilitation. Anyway, you're not broke when you get out, so it helps a lot. It's actually really good. I don't know why I made it sound so bad. Anyway, they would, I went into the community, and I had several different churches I went to, and there's a small town called Beaver, Oklahoma, and there was they had a prayer session, right? So you go in there, and whoever showed up, and there might be 5 people, there might be 15, and they had no music, no lyrics, but there might be a light, soft music. But the point of it was, everybody showed up, and they're like, hi, how's it going, whatever, and at a certain point, everybody shut up and started praying. So, this goes on for 2 hours. You sit there and pray for 2 hours. You can sit down, you can get on your knees, you can lay on the floor, whatever you want to do. Doesn't matter. You just got to be respectful of everybody else. Basically, what I ended up doing is I'm sitting there with my eyes closed, talking to God. I'm like, help Steve, pray for Larry, whatever. Help my kids, my finances, health, the country, the nation, the whatever. And at a certain point, I don't know what the deal is, but you get past all that, and it's like God shows you that what is deeper, right? You can't really sort it out yourself. So they would do this I think it was once or twice a month, and there's something about coming together as a group to do it, which is cool. Everybody's kind of doing the same thing, and then there's this, our energy as a human, with several humans together, where 2 or more are gathered in His name, He is there. There's a scientific way to explain that, with the metaphysical stuff and frequencies and vibrations and all this kind of stuff. I'm a novice, I'm aware of such things, and it is real. The unseen realm is real. Look at Bluetooth and cell phones, electricity. There's all kinds of stuff we can't see. It's off our spectrum that we can't, see. But we know it's there. I don't see the wind. I see the leaf blowing past in the wind. While I'm driving the truck, I look at trees to see if there's a crosswind. You know what I'm saying? So there's signs and evidence of these things that we can't see. Well, you get 5 to 20 people in a room. It was like the cafeteria eating spot. They had a few tables to eat, and then a little bit of a kitchen area. So it was decent size. It was probably 25 by 40 room, right? So you could lay down or whatever you want to do, be comfortable. So that was real good. And I would say it was between about 30 and 45 minutes of just everything that you can think of. I remember thinking to myself, I'm just like, I don't know what else to say. You know what I'm saying? And it's just something would come up. You know what I mean? And it's something in that, like I had, you know, if you're trying to pray, all the anxiety seems like it comes on. You know what I mean? Like anything you're even slightly worried about. You know what I mean? And I'm just like bleep, block, bleep, block, bleep, block, bleep, block, because I'm just a real internet kind of guy. And so it's like I'm just checking boxes, pray for this, pray for that, pray for this, pray for that. And then I did this deep stuff, you know what I mean? And I'll start praying about stuff and then get, I don't want to church it up and try to say got a revelation of what to pray for or whatever, but it was kind of like that. And it was, some stuff would be real personal to me, and some stuff would be real personal to God. And I was like, I remember thinking to myself, how cool is it that God showed me that? And how, and not just like a situation, like it come to my mind, like I really need to pray for some person, some place, whatever. And I would, and I'd be, you know, interceding for them. But then, like, I felt God's heart towards that person. And then I realized, like, he let me in on how he was loving on somebody else. You see what I'm saying? So, like, at some point, this prayer is so far from personal to me and so far from selfish, it's remarkable, right? And the reach and the prayer for what was on God's heart. You see what I'm saying? So that was enormous. And now looking back, like, you know, I don't plan these videos out. I just heard a real good prayer, and it was about Psalm 11. So I was like, I got Psalm 11 pulled up right now, and I was thinking about playing this guy talking this prayer, and then I remembered this, and I started talking, right? So right now, like he showed me a remembrance of when he showed me his heart towards the people, and as he was giving me a gift to reach out to people. And I'm like, literally right now, this is real time, me realizing a deeper facet of how he gave me his heart towards his people. And you talk about being vulnerable, you know what I mean? Like, especially for dudes, it's not as uncommon with women, but you get some real tough dudes, some soldiers, some construction guys, whatever, and get them to open up a little bit about stuff or whatever, and I'm not talking about some kind of let's get together and cry type of deal. I mean, if you do, that's fine, that's cool, you know, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But not like some gay shit, you know what I mean? But like real, you know what I mean? So it's totally different. So when you get some dudes together that are like
there's a stalled vehicle ahead.
Prisoners, soldiers, construction guys, stuff like that, and you step into these deep places and talk about these tremendous things, there's a different type of vulnerability. We're vulnerable, whatever. I can't say that word. Why can't I say that word? I'll shut up for nothing. There's a different level of uncomfortability in our vulnerability because that's the way we're raised. Like dudes are like, you know what I mean? Like we're out here to slay the freaking dragon and show no mercy to the enemy. You know what I mean? And we're like, gotta be tough. You know what I mean? We're full freaking, you know, porcupine turtle style. You know what I mean? Like you're not getting through the shield. So to let the shield down, you know what I mean, in that moment, and then to realize the creator of the universe is giving me something where he's vulnerable. Like I might break his heart. Okay, I don't think people have enough concept of that. I know I didn't. I mean, like I'm learning right now in real time. Like God was vulnerable to allow me to see his heart part of the Bible that says, do not grieve the Holy Spirit, actually makes sense to me. Okay, so just fantastic, right? And like, what responsibility? Like, I don't want to break my wife's heart. You know what I'm saying? How much the more should I not break God's heart? You know? And there's like a song that break our heart for what breaks yours or whatever. Anyway, this is an 11-minute introduction. Let me read this deal for you. Okay, this is Psalm 11. It says, in the Lord I take refuge. How then can you say to me, flee like a bird to your mountain? For look, the wicked bend their bows. Sorry, I got a jackass. Go on then, Dave. Go on about your business, Mr. Shiny Bag. Why, don't put 30,000 lights on your vehicle. Like, you don't want people around you unable to see at night. Like, yes, we see you, but no, we cannot see anything else around you. You're an idiot. You're blinding traffic. Okay, let's try this again. Psalm 11. In the Lord I take refuge. How then can you say to me, flee like a bird to your mountain? For look, the wicked bend their bows. They set their arrows against the strings to shoot. I gotta pass this guy. See, that's one of the other things too. Like, you gotta know when the enemy's present, and you gotta know how to do battle with the enemy, right? Mr. Shiny Bug, we're gonna pass this guy. Because, you know, I'm on Highway 35 southbound, and there's 3 lanes going southbound, and you know the trucks ain't supposed to be in the left lane, and then people get on and off, so that kind of messes up the right lane. So these companies tell these steering wheel holders, people that shouldn't have a CDL but they got one, say, oh, just get in the middle lane and, you know, set the cruise control. You know, so they're driving 63 to 67 in a 75 in the middle lane, just messing it up for everybody. And then the influx of California people, yeah, they don't know how to drive. They're just like, you know what I mean? They drive like a fish swimming. They can't go straight for nothing. You know what I mean? One of them turns and they all turn. You know what I mean? Like you see on the National Geographic and all the fish turn. Yeah, that's what they do. That's the California way. And then the Texas way is just like just imagine like an old stubborn mule and just straight. So you got Billy Bob stays in his lane no matter what. Anyway. Yeah, this is real good. I can tell in my life, side note, if it's hard, you're probably doing right. You know what I mean? If you don't butt heads with the devil, you're going the same direction, straight to hell. So, you know what I mean? If you find yourself butting heads with the devil, then you're probably doing good. If it's difficult, yeah, it's worth it. In the Lord I take refuge. How then can you say to me, quote, flee like a bird to your mountain? For look, the wicked bend their bows. They set their arrows against the strings. They shoot from the shadows at the upright in heart. When the foundations are being destroyed, what can the righteous do? Unquote. The Lord in his holy temple. The Lord on his heavenly throne. He observes everyone on the earth. His eyes examine them. The Lord examines the righteous, but the wicked, those who love violence, he hates with a passion. On the wicked, he will rain fiery coals and burning sulfur. A scorching wind will be their lot. For the Lord is righteous. He loves justice. The upright will see his face. Yeah, so, you know, I think that speaks it right there. Okay, so, you know, that's a big deal. That's a great big deal. So, we want to read, and, we know that God loves us and stuff like that and everything else like that, but we also know that He hates sin. And, we've made mistakes, and there's some get right that's due. And it's not possible to get right without a understanding of what the atonement is. So you got to understand what the atonement is. So if I owe a debt, I got to pay for it. You know what I mean? And probably need to keep the receipts. You know what I'm saying? Because I might need to file taxes. I've paid the court, and then the court say that they don't have a record of it, and then I had to pay them again. Keep your receipts. Keep your receipts. Okay? I've been audited by the IRS 3 times. So, keep your receipts. And do everything above board. Okay, so, that says a lot about accountability, right? So, we know people are flawed, and we know there's ways to hold people accountable, which kind of sounds like grumpy or whatever like that. But if you invite the accountability, okay, God's watching. We just read it right here, Psalm 11. God's watching. Like, you're not getting away with nothing. You're not getting away with nothing, okay? You're not getting away with nothing. He sees it all, okay? And this thing's a real good prayer deal or whatever like that. I think I'm just going to hit the link in the description or the comment section, whatever, because I don't know how to do it. I was going to let it play because it's just like a voice talking. It's got a lot of declarations of get right. It's got a lot of declarations of like telling the enemy to leave and stuff like that. So I was going to play that. It's like 45 minutes long, and that's what made me think of the long prayers or whatever. But it seems like this video is taking on a different life, and I want to get back to accountability. I want, like it says, treat other people the way you want them to treat you. Okay, so I want somebody to tell me the straight of it, good or bad, blunt, straight to the point. Don't pull no punches. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to think that you're like scheming or plotting or whatever, because it's paranormal, right? So, if somebody just tells me the straight of it, hey, look, man, you messed this up. I'm like, oh man, I did. You know what I mean? If they explain it to me where I can see it, I appreciate that, because it's actually more efficient. You know what I mean? So like I could be a man, or excuse me, I can be an adult in my emotionals so that I can hear a blunt, straightforward, get right skin, and I'm like, sir, yes, sir, and I can take it from right there. Now I've got this thing that I can take before the Lord in prayer and be like, apologize, get right, help me get right, all this other kind of stuff. I can make peace with it. I call that carrying it to the cross. So like we're built to carry it to the cross and to lay it down. Okay, that's repentance for me. Okay, so that looks like, here's the sin. I've been made aware of the sin, whatever degree, and I look at God's law and how He feels towards that thing, and then I try to understand why it is sin. And then God wants best for all of mankind. So that can be extremely harsh to an individual. But if that's what it takes for all of mankind to have righteousness, then it makes a lot of sense to me. Make it make sense type of deal, right? So, if these people are corrupt to whatever degree, and they got to be, killed, that's really harsh for one person. You know what I mean? And then, like, everybody else sees that, they're like, okay, like somebody gets hung for stealing horses. Everybody else is like, okay, like let's not steal horses. You know what I'm saying? And there's so many different things like that, you know. And basically, as parents, we instill that in our kids with a belt or a boot. I call it leather treatments, right? So if your kid's getting out of line and they won't listen, and you can't reach his part, you can reach his part they sit on with a piece of leather. It's called a leather treatment, right? And it says, spare the rod, spoil the child. Well, what that is like, take your belt off and spank your kid. And don't lie to your kid. Tell them, you know what I mean? Hey, if you do this, you know, you're getting 3 swats. That's the way it is. And then follow through with that so that they have a healthy fear. A healthy fear. You know what I mean? You want the fear of God in people, knowing that He's looking, because He is. Okay, so like this is not some kind of Santa Claus deal here. Like we're not trying to trick our kids into something. We're showing cause and effect and consequences of choices here. You know what I mean? So like we can choose to uphold righteousness and walk in this righteous way before the Lord, and He's got our back with blessing and everything else. So as we're raising up our kids, you know, we're like, you know, stay in school, get good grades or whatever like that. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, develop your ability to have marketable skills. And then once you step into the market with skills and ethics and favor from God, you're going to excel, right? So as they're growing up, you know what I mean? You give them the chores and you say, hey, you do right, you know, you get this blessing. You do wrong, you catch these, you know, leather treatments. You know what I mean? And if the leather treatments don't work, that's why I call it a treatment. Leather treatments is when you spank your child. Okay? And then if it doesn't work the first time, just reapply. Sometimes you just need an aspirin because you fell off a horse, right? And you're injured or something like that. But then other times you might have the flu. You know what I mean? So you might have the sniffles for a couple of days and have to take some medicine. Other times you might like have a serious that's going to take 6 months to get over. You know what I mean? So that's going to take a series of treatment. Okay? So like, you know, say you're fighting cancer, you go through chemo. You know what I mean? That's a big deal. And so that's a lot more than I had a headache and took some ibuprofen because I fell off a horse. You know, it's a lot different, okay? So apply your leather treatments appropriate to the bad decision. And then they will change their mind about these bad decisions. And one of the things that I want to say is, in my experience, I've never seen more respect anywhere on the planet than in a prison. Because in a prison, I got myself and my little old spot, like basically a steel rack, and I'm in a cell, 2 dudes in a cell, and you see a career criminal walk up, knock on the door, and say, hey man, can I come in? Say, yeah, come on in. You know what I mean? And that dude come in there and conduct himself with more respect. You know what I mean? And I'll tell you exactly where that comes from. If you disrespect someone, the perception of disrespect, they will stab you to death. They might sell you to the homosexuals. Okay? When you're under threat of, you know, horrific violence, you'll walk a different way than you walk out here, you know, tell everybody to kiss your ass at the 7-Eleven. You know what I mean? You're cutting people off in traffic. You know what I mean? You're being disrespectful to whatever degree. If you think that person is going to just, you know, him and 12 dudes come in there and have their way in the most traumatic fashion, you're not gonna treat that dude disrespectfully, right? Anyway, okay, God can throw you in hell. All right. So in that moment where I'm in a prison and I'm acting respectful, you know what I mean, out of self-preservation. You know, fear and respect go hand in hand. You know, fear and respect go hand in hand. They're slightly different, and I want people to do what I say because they see that I love them. Okay? So like, you know, if I talk to my family, to my business partners, whatever, friends, in that moment where I'm talking with them one-on-one or whatever, I want to walk in a form of love where, like, they know I got their back or whatever, but then also I'm like, you know, like if something comes against the family, like me and the family can talk smack to each other, but if this other group comes, we'll group up and fight them off, even if we're wrong. Even if we're wrong. You know what I'm saying? Because we're family. You know what I'm saying? You come against me and mine, you know what I'm saying? We got to take you out. You know what I'm saying? And whatever's whatever. You know what I mean? And you know, we'll take care of it. And try to do it as righteous as possible. Okay? So that's, you know, understood. But amongst the kinfolk, you know, he's the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. Right? So as the high priest of my home, you know what I mean? I got certain responsibilities to keep the group right. So like in the, you know, you might have the leader of the platoon. You might have the guy that's got the keys to the car in a jail setting. You might have like your manager in your department at your organization at work. You know what I mean? All these are very similar. Very similar. Okay? So with this praying and stuff like that, and then seeing God's heart for these other people, now, like, I gotta be like, you know, asking, you know, prayer is asking, right? So I honor God in a respectful way, you know what I mean? So just think like a sandwich, like a prayer sandwich. So like, you want to butter him up a little bit. Tell God how good he is. You hear yourself telling God how good and strong he is, which builds your faith, right? So you're praying to God, and it sounds like you're juicing somebody up that's got a big head. That's what it sounds like, but that's not, it's God, it ain't a man. Okay? So you're telling God how tough he is. You're actually building up your faith, right? And then, like, you know, you hit your lettuce and tomato, right, where you're like, you know, kind of superficials. And then you, like, you know, you get your heart out. You know, that's the real beat of the prayer, right? And, you know, and then you hit the backside. So like, here's the other slice of bread. You're like, and I know you can do this because you're big and mighty, tough, powerful, and you love us. Like, wow, you love us. So, like, you know, the bread is telling who he is, so you hear it, and buttering him up is reminding him that he loves us and standing on the scripture, and you're standing in the courtroom testifying before the heavenly court while you're doing this. So, like, walk with this, like, level of respect, right? And then other times, like, you'll be talking to him and he's just like your buddy. Other times, like, you're just down and out, like you are beat up with life, and you're like, help me, please. You're at the end of your rope. It's a come to Jesus moment. Whatever trauma, whatever, you know, life will kick your butt, and you know you can't pick yourself up and dust yourself off, and you're like, please God, oh gracious God, please, I can't do this. You know what I mean? I prayed one time, I walked out in the snow. My plan was to take my coat off, lay in the snow, and die of exposure. And I walked out there and everything. I took my coat off, and I got on my knees, and I said, I can't do this, God. And just plain as day, he said, it's about time you figured that out. And I said, oh. And I just picked up, put my coat back on, walked over to my buddy's house, made one phone call. My dad showed up, picked me up in this badass Dodge pickup, which I now own, but I gotta fix the motor or whatever. I bought it off of it years later. I want to hand it down to my son years been there, done that, multiple occasions. But when I said I can't do it, God, you got to do it. And he's like, it's about time you figured that out. You know what I mean? And that is such a personal moment right there. When you come to the end of yourself, God can really take over. And that's why he lets the earth be so bad. This whole thing is a proving ground. When we get to the new earth, there won't be a lot of these problems that we're experiencing. Because everybody's walking righteous. I say it like this for humor purposes. It don't matter how nice a swimming pool is. If one person shits, nobody wants to swim, right? You know what I'm saying? So like on the new earth, nobody's sinning. We're practicing now how to not sin, and then we're like remembering the hassle and the problem. So like you think about your life and there's a problem, and you look back, you're like, oh yeah, because yep, and then there was this and there was that, yep, this and that. And then somewhere in your maturity, it dawns on you like your wife is contrary because you're contrary to God and you're experiencing his heart. Marriage is to show you what you're doing to God. You know what I'm saying? So like, that's why it's so hard, you know what I mean? And it's like the ultimate goodness, and then like raising the kid. You know what I mean? That's what you did to God. You know what I mean? You're seeing, at first you think, oh wow, this is what I did to my mom and dad. Later you realize, this is what I'm doing to God. And then like, I'm a terrible husband, you know what I mean? But I'm a really bad wife. And like, I'm the bride of Christ, right? So like, metaphorically speaking, I'm, married to a Jewish guy. Because like I'm the bride of Christ. The church is the bride of Christ. And a lot of places in marriage, like in Ephesians chapter 5, it talks about marriage. And then it says, but I'm not talking about man and woman. I'm talking about Jesus and the church, which is incredible insight. And as you learn these insights, these precepts, and you're going through it, every one of these things it's like a diamond with all these different angles and cuts, like a refined diamond, right? And as you shine a light through there from different angles, you're going to get different viewpoints, you're going to get different projections on the wall, and all sorts of kind of stuff. Like look at the ephod, E-P-H-O-D. Look that up. The high priest wore an ephod on his chest. Okay, those are living stones. So if you look up each one of them stones, and there's a type of light that you can shine through the stone, and these things really, it does some amazing things. Truly, tremendously amazing. And you'll have a deeper insight into heaven the more that you learn what happens when you shine, I think it's called like an active light through the ephod. Is the gist of what I'm saying right now. Look that up. Very intense. Very intense. And like each one does something different. There's 12 different ones. And then when you read in Revelation and stuff like that, like the 12 gates are these different deals or whatever. And then when you pass the light through that, yeah, it's biblically mind-blowing, literally. It is very difficult to wrap your head around it. So, like, if you really want a blessing, if you want to get away from when Jesus coming back and freaking apocalypse, and you want an uplifting and, like, really build yourself up and get some knowledge that you can share from little kid to old lady and really, like, be a blessing and, like, focus on what's righteous, true, and noble, and the God of peace be with you. Look into the living light, active light. I forget what they call it. It's a type of light passed through those gemstones, and it specifically those gemstones make this active, like dancing light on like a variety of spectrum. And then this other stuff, these other rocks that we consider, sparkly, shiny, like specifically like a diamond, it's inert. The same light, nothing. It don't do nothing. It's not the same. It's not live. You know what I mean? So it's like it's pretty intense. It's pretty intense. If it's and it also go to show you how when you see the price tag of the thawed gems versus the price tag of the dead gems, you'll realize what's real and what's fake, what's valuable because somebody said so, and then what's valuable because what something can actually do. And that is a life lesson in, like, you know, do I need a degree from Harvard type of deal, you know, versus do I need, you know, if you're going to go hire some people to work for you, you know, I mean, make sure, you know, if you're gonna hire a truck driver, make sure he knows how to change a flat, you know, and stuff like that. Can he back up the truck without tearing it up, type of deal. You know, you hire a lawyer to be a truck driver. I don't think he's going to stick with it for the duration. You know what I mean? But you don't want to hire a roofer to represent you in court. You know, so, like, you got to be appropriate with this stuff. And then, like, I'll leave you with this: act appropriately in all conditions, in all situations, all circumstances. Act appropriately, and the Bible will tell you how to conduct yourself in all these different ways. Okay, so you're gonna see stuff in the Bible where people make mistakes. That's there, so you don't make the mistake. You're gonna see stuff in the Bible where they really got it right. That's how you do it right. You're gonna find these things in there where there's these laws and these morals and these conditions and the consequences and stuff. That's all for get right. That is God's opinion on how to act appropriately in the earth. Study that for sure, because you need to know what that is. You need to know how to go about your life appropriately. You know what I mean? Like, I can't dress up like I'm in the marching band with a bunch of drums and go to the opera and just start playing the drum right in the middle of the place. You know what I mean? Like, I can't be disruptive in a church service. You know what I mean? I don't want to bring up somebody's tax history and conduct an audit at a funeral while everybody's crying. You see what I'm saying? Now, there might be a time and a place for everything, but there is more so bad timing for things and places. Okay? So, don't get distracted with the culture of our modern time. Get infatuated with God's opinion, because it is the best. Okay, it is the absolute best. It does not get better. When you go back and you read the law, and it's like, do this, don't do that, can't you read the side? And it seems really harsh. Just remember, it's better for, you know, a sinner to be put to death than it is for all mankind to become corrupt. You know what I mean? I would gladly give my life to make sure my family lives. You know what I mean? Jesus gave his life so that his family would live. You know, how much the more should I just, like, you know, eat kosher food? You know what I'm saying? Like, is that really even a big deal? You know? And then, like, as I'm doing things God's ways, like, just avoiding the pesticides and the herbicides by eating organic. You know, I can eat less and fill my belly and have a more fulfilled diet, and then I take this event out of eating, and then now I'm not worshiping my food and being a glutton and all this other kind of stuff. And then this crazy thing happens where, like, your taste buds change. And now, like, dude, I got some butter and some onions in a skillet and a lamb chop, and I'm eating this thing after, like, 3 days of fasting and prayer. And I'm not kidding you at all. I'm 45 years old. the best meal I've ever had in my life. Ever. And I'm a fat truck driver. I've been all over the United States, south, east, north, everywhere. We got every kind of food. We are fatter than hell. And I'm telling you right now, if you have ever talked to a truck driver in your life and said, "Where's a good place to eat?" This dude can bust out 13 places in 5 different states. They'd be like, "Oh, over here it's like this. And if you go over here, you really want this." You know what I mean? This ain't no uninformed statement. This is like butter, onions, a lamb chop, seasoned salt, turmeric, cumin, black pepper grinder from Walmart. It's got 3 or 4 different ones in there. And I was out to slap your mama. I did not put that on there. That might have been it. Yeah, and then just like sauteed, slow cooked, did the sizzle, flipped, as it's sizzling, spiced it up, flipped, spiced it up, chopped up 4 onions, threw it in there, started out with a 1/4 stick of butter, you know what I mean? And I had fasted for 2 days on a water fast, finished it up in 20 hours of dry fast, and then proceeded to eat the best meal I've ever had in my life. Ever. I've tried to replicate it since, can't do it. I set the conditions. Now, I'm remodeling the temple, right? My body's the temple, you know what I mean? So I want the temple as nice as possible. You know, God's got to live here. You know what I mean? I don't want to be stopped the rest of my life. You know what I mean? I want to be healthy for Him. You know, I mean, it's selfish too. Don't get me wrong, but you know, I'm checking a lot of boxes here, and then I call it health insurance with an E, not insurance with an I, where you pay mankind all this money to get chemicals from China to try to put your carcass back right after being a glutton and a hellion all your life. You know what I mean? You go 40 years just living like hell, and then spend 30 years eating chemicals trying to get right. That don't make no freaking sense. You know what I mean? The health insurance with an E is like, I go to the Bible, read what it says, and then check out the modern people's idea of whatever, and like, you know, make sure I'm nutritionally sufficient, and then like, you know, functional marriage, you know, real basic stuff if you think about it, but nobody's thinking about it. You know what I'm saying? So that's where it's like, get real, make it make sense, put it into action, you know, practical, tactical, and appropriate. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, like this is pretty incredible video it's turning out to be. And man, I just, you know, like and subscribe to Jesus. Like, I mean, I'd like to have more reach, whatever else like that. So, you know, if you hit the like and subscribe on the channel, that's cool. You know what I mean? But, man, I'm telling you right now, if I knew the value of the things I've said in this video, and I could go back to when I was, I'm going to say 14 or 15, when I just like, love was not a thing for me. Like, I did not think anyone loved me. I thought church was a do-gooders club. And if I could take this video right here and just like hop in the DeLorean, go back to 1984 or whatever, and get back to the future type of deal, and show myself this video. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people say that, like, if you went back, what would you tell yourself? Like, I would probably show myself this video and be like, dude, you're gonna make it. Like, you know, you're gonna make it. But that's pretty cool. So, anyway, I'll put this preaching deal on here. It's got like a weird picture of Jesus with a can Christmas, I don't think it's the right name. But like, it's the heart. Oh, and that was the other thing I was going to say. Okay, if you look up the word Lord, okay, it talks about ownership, right? Like possessor. Like I possess the land, so I am a landlord. And then you think about the word possessed, and it's got this negative connotation, right? But whatever I'm bowed down to, you know what I mean? Whatever has my mind, my thoughts, you know, like my forehead, or whatever has my strength, my right hand. You know what I mean? When I lay my hand to the plow to produce. You know what I mean? So what I'm giving my money, time, and effort towards, what I'm thinking about, conspiring on, and how am I going to do this thing, and like I'm doing what it takes to have the business, to get the money, to buy the house, to pay for this, to do that, blah 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 blah. That's your forehead, and then your right hand is you're going in and doing it and doing it and going in and doing it. Right? Okay, so if I'm thinking about God, and it's at the forefront of my mind to do what He deems appropriate in the situation. Okay, the law is what's appropriate. Okay, and I'm trying to do that appropriately in the circumstances I find myself in to the best of my ability, which is a struggle. And then my effort, my earning, my tithing, my doing for the least of these. Okay, in 2025, I am not giving financially. I'm going to switch up and I'm going to give double into the kingdom, but not a penny, because I'm going to take my level of giving to a purity that surpasses money. So it's going to be a lot of effort, a lot of time and stuff. I don't know what it's going to be. I'm going to walk appropriately, but you know, like that's my thing. That's my thing. Yeah, part of that is the, live in 25. So I'm going to try to expand this deal. And I might start a whole new thing. You know what I mean? I might start an actual media LLC, like get some real cameras, the whole 9 yards, and do some documenting, do some 5-minute ministry with like a body cam, and like, you know, whatever's appropriate there. I'm not sure. I tried it a couple times with the hat cam, but it's weird because everybody's just looking at it and they're like, you know, what type of, you know, situation is this? Very apprehensive. I think I'll get one of them little 8-pin deals or something. You know what I mean? And then just like let it happen. Ask them if it's cool to publish after the fact, so it's natural type of deal. Maybe, I don't know. Still working on that. And yeah, because like what I'm doing, driving down the road, making a documentary and talking and stuff like that, like you guys probably recognize the Holy Ghost in it. But man, when I'm standing there talking to somebody random, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool, you know, in my estimation. And you know, I don't always get it right or whatever, but I've done it thousands of times. And after doing it thousands of times, with being genuine, I've developed parables and using modern stuff to describe things that I've read in the Bible, and then like that's what Jesus did. You know what I mean? Like He's coming from the unseen realm, trying to describe to us stuff. You know what I mean? And then like, I mean, try to explain to somebody how to back up a semi truck that's from the country, or that's from the city, or that don't speak English. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna need some body language and stuff. You don't catch all the fish with the same lure. See, even that's a parable. All right, well, Rock Hill, I hope you guys have a great day.